Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Dion's Daily Dose presents Coffee Break. Here with my buddy Jim. There he is.
Hey, what's up?
Glad you could join us. So the last week's video, we had some technical issues, so we're just going to redo.
Yeah, just take a mulligan.
Yeah, take a mulligan. It happens. It happens. You know, things come up. Technical issues arise that people have no control over. So the title of the episode is 3%ers, right? What is it? What are they? Are they dangerous? Are they, right-wing domestic T-words, big, scary.
Simple questions with very complicated answers.
Right. Because it really isn't as simple as a straight yes or a no, because just like anything else, it's a spectrum. It's a lot of people who may even embrace the name, the whatever, and doesn't even really represent what it's about, because that happens too.
Yeah, well, there's the thing about that is the 3% idea is just simply that. It's an idea.
Okay.
And what people do with that idea for their particular groups
it varies.
Yeah, it varies greatly. There's no rule book per se. There's no national headquarters with meetings and all of that.
Right.
It's just groups that what was that? Yeah, various groups that fly under the 3% banner,
right,
as it were. So the whole thing started, I want to say around 2008. The whole 3% movement on social media. I don't remember the name of the man who started it, but it really breathed new life into the militia movement from the 90s.
Okay.
Which, was kind of waning at that time, and this kind of gave it a jump start.
Right.
So that's kind of how that came about.
So the term itself really started into, like, what did you say, around 2008?
Yeah, he coined that.
He coined the term. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this guy coined the term in 2008, and it essentially revived, or at least brought out to the spotlight, the militia movement.
It really kind of gave it a new life.
Yeah.
It gave those disjointed, quote unquote militias something to rally around. It gave them a focus.
Okay, so where does the 3% moniker come from?
Okay,
we hear, like, with wealth, there's the 1%. With certain biker club, motorcycle clubs, there's the 1%. What 3% is a little different. What is that?
Okay, so the 3%, and this is really kind of funny because that's the one that the detractors of the 3% movement, that's the hill they want to die on.
Okay.
They want to debunk the whole 3% symbology.
Okay.
Instead of the actions of the groups or whatever,
right.
They want to debunk the whole thing, thinking that, like, I don't know, it'll like hurt their morale or dampen their spirits, or I don't know.
Right.
But at any rate, so the 3% idea, the 3 comes from the notion that 3% of the colonists were in the Continental Army.
Okay. So 3% of the colonists stood up to the British.
Right.
during the Revolution.
Now, the detractors debunked that, saying, well, there was like 230,000 people who served in the Continental Army.
Right.
That's way more than 3%,
Uh-huh.
of the total colonists. Yes, that is true. However,
Okay.
230,000 people did not serve in the Continental Army at the same time.
Right.
So when the Continental Army started, it was like a 1-year term.
Okay.
You had a one-year tour, basically.
Yeah. You signed up for your tour of duty, which was 1 year.
Mm-hmm. And there were never more, at most, there was never more than 48,000 people in the Continental Army at any given time.
Okay.
And the rest were militia.
Mhm.
The militia kind of filled out the ranks there. At its height,
Which is the whole at the time the whole Minuteman thing.
right.
Okay.
The militias were just they weren't states at the time; they were colonies.
Yeah. But it was
But
essentially civilians that had been,
yeah, they were civilians that just wanted to fight the good fight.
Right.
So, at its height, at the height of the war, now bear in mind, the war went on for over 8 years.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't a flash in the pan. This was.
Oh, and there were big concerns through the inception of having a standing army in what would become the United States.
Right. Because at the time, I mean, they had just lived under British rule, where the armies were what carried everything out. And,
well, at this time, they're still under British rule.
Yeah, they're still, but they're thinking of the future. And
right. Yeah, we don't want to be like them. We don't want to have the same mistakes.
Right.
Which we'll get to later.
That's another episode.
So, at its height, 80,000. Continental Army, militia.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't including the mercenaries. This isn't including the French that helped us.
Right.
This is just the Continental Army and the militia.
Okay.
Roughly 80,000.
Okay.
Which boils down to, and that's the biggest number that we got.
Right.
Okay. That's the top number at this given time. So you do the math and it comes out to like 2.9 something percent. Round it to 3.
Right.
Roman numerals don't do decimals well.
Right.
So that's where the 3 and 3%. But stop. That's where the 3 and 3% comes from. It's 3%. And keep in mind, people get bogged down in numbers. It's just a symbol.
Right.
Like you can't put large explanations on flags. So 3%, with the stars of the 13 colonies around it.
And it does represent a certain ideology.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is the number itself isn't as important as what it represents.
Yeah. Like I said, it's an idea.
Okay. All right. So we got the whole 3%er thing, but it's different for a lot of people. Like I've met some people that their idea of 3% is like serving in the armed forces and being ready, when it's time for the army to not do what they're being ordered to do, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's real interesting that you say that.
Okay.
Because I've noticed, and this is just my personal observation,
right,
that there's a difference in mindset between veterans who believe in 3% and civilians that believe in 3%.
True.
And I don't know the origin of that, separation, but I do know that, and maybe it's because the veterans have served. They've
Yeah.
seen, some of the government's finest work.
Right.
They've been, especially combat veterans.
Right.
Combat veterans, especially, they have a very specific mindset when it comes to that. And that could be because of, what they've been through overseas,
Could be.
and, what they were fighting for, or what have you. I don't know. I'm not a combat veteran.
Right.
I never saw combat.
But you would say, as a veteran, it means something different to you than generally what you've been made to understand it means to civilians.
Well, for my own part, I think it would mean the same to me whether I had served or not. That's just my particular mindset.
Right.
Having been in the military,
Yeah.
lackluster as it was, I did kind of see behind the curtain, the way the government kind of operates, at least in the military aspect.
Yeah.
Some of the uncomfortable information and uncomfortable questions I was asked while I was serving.
Yeah.
You got to understand that I was in during the 90s, during the Clinton administration, when they were trying to cut military left and right.
Oh yeah.
My unit got deactivated in 95.
Yeah, I remember they were shutting down bases left and right.
Mm-hmm.
They were, funneling units from like one area to another to kind of.
Mm-hmm. Well, hell, when I was in AIT, we, for the holidays, we had a holiday exodus.
Okay.
Where we could go home for the holidays.
Yeah.
And some people just didn't come back. Went AWOL.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to come back.
Right.
They literally told their contacts, they're like, tell them they can stop hiding. We're not looking for them. They don't want to be here. We're cutting you loose.
Right.
It was not a big deal to them. They wanted to thin the ranks.
Right. Cost them less money in the long run. They were fine with that.
So,
more money they could ship.
But either way.
So what does the idea itself mean to you personally?
To me?
Yeah.
So 3% to me is kind of like, it's kind of a message to the politicians, the powers that be.
Right.
And that message is simply, hey, remember what happened last time somebody, decided they wanted to do whatever they wanted to?
Right.
And, stomp all over us?
Mm-hmm.
That could happen again.
Yeah. And, a lot of people kind of get it in their heads that anyone who like, for example, the flag behind me, right? 1776, we the people, they get it in their head that something like that, or something like a 3%er, tattoo or hat or whatever, automatically means you're against civilized society and you want to go out in the woods and, play with your boom booms and, so whatever. Or even worse, you want to actively like overthrow things. And I would argue the exact opposite is true. We want order, but we want order with freedom.
Well,
what do you like? What's your?
Unfortunately, and this is, I'm going to keep it 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to sugarcoat anything. Unfortunately, some, if not a lot, of the 3% groups that have popped up all over, do think like that.
Okay.
They do want to go out and drill in the woods and, play with their bang bangs and, kidnap politicians and, and it's silly to me.
Right.
And it's absolutely silly to me to think that way.
Okay.
You're really putting the cart before the horse.
All right.
The founding fathers did not want to go to war.
Right.
They didn't want it at all.
Yeah.
It was they kind of got their hand forced. So there was really no other option at that point there I go again.
Yeah.
So
Still haven't found my sandbags. I have some. I just don't know where they are.
and they think about they're so ready to fight and they're so ready to die and kill and all this.
Mm-hmm.
Then what? You
Yeah.
don't have any alternative.
No.
You don't even have the idea
Right.
of an alternative. You're not even thinking about what happens after.
Right. It's okay. We got to fix everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to fix everything.
Right.
You just want to take out your frustration,
Yeah.
or what have you, your psychosis or anything, whatever. There's lots of people and lots of different motivations. Yeah. You just want to take that out on whoever you perceive as an enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think that represents the majority? Or is it just like a few?
I can't speak on whether or not it reflects it represents the majority or not. All I know is that it exists.
Fair.
It exists in that form. I don't know to what extent. Like I said, there's no national meetings. There's no, if there's a newsletter, I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, me either.
I just, I deal with myself and the group that I'm in, and we don't look at it that way.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the group that you're in,
mm-hmm.
and what they're about. So you're in a motorcycle club,
mm-hmm.
Which has its own stigma.
Absolutely.
There. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I kind of like to dive into in another installment.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of misconceptions out there,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of TV stuff that
mm-hmm.
it doesn't translate. But your particular motorcycle club is extremely mm-hmm. veteran focused.
Yes. We're actually a 501c3 charity.
Right.
We are a legitimate, on paper charity.
And as far as I just want to tell my viewers, for those of you who didn't, catch the other one where we kind of introduced it a little differently, this is my best friend, Jim. We've known each other since 7th grade ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I am deeply familiar with the club and the charity. These guys don't draw a salary. They're not trying to make money off of mm-hmm. this. Everything they collect goes to mm-hmm. the particular cause that they're working for that particular event,
mm-hmm.
usually. Right, because different events benefit different organizations with
mm-hmm.
you guys, right? So I just wanted to put that out there because there are a lot of so-called charities,
mm-hmm.
And nonprofits that their CEO is making bank, and
and to a point, it makes sense. To go on a brief tangent, if you're doing this full time, you should be compensated for it.
Well. Yeah, but that
does it get out of hand? Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. And that's not you guys' goal, is to be compensated.
No, we don't.
In fact, this stuff costs them a lot.
Yeah,
yeah,
dude. I'm personally in the hole for a chunk. But it's something I believe in. So
right. Yeah. The name of the club is Patriotic Few, and they help veterans in all around the area, but really. I mean, you guys are closest to South Bend, so
we're our chapter's located in South Bend.
Yeah, so but I will say there's not a lot of other veterans homes or any of that mm-hmm. stuff kind of out this way. Really.
Yeah, in fact, if your viewers know any in the area, I'd love to hear about them because the more people we can help, the better.
If you guys know, because we looked into it. I know you guys looked into it way more than I did. I, looked into it a little. I'm like, I don't see anything, but feel mm-hmm. free to keep looking. If you guys know of any veterans homes,
mm-hmm.
shelters specifically for veterans,
local stuff, not like Wounded Warrior or they're all fine, they're all good, but we're looking for something more
local,
close to home.
Precisely.
That's where charity begins.
Yeah. So the main recipient for you guys recently has been
our big one is Miller's Homeless Vets
right.
in South Bend.
That's what I'm saying. They're the only
Mm-hmm.
home that I know of for veterans. Anyway,
Yeah. So that we do a lot. We do as much as we can for veterans, and of course, we love riding our motorcycles.
right.
And we're a 3% organization. Mm-hmm. So and we're now that we've kind of got our feet under us
mm-hmm.
as far as like the veterans charities go, we're looking at getting into more political stuff.
Okay.
There are the press conferences and things like that.
All right.
Where we can go and we can ask those questions to the politicians. Hey, what are you doing for this? Hey, what are you doing for that?
Yeah.
Holding them accountable for their so-called representation.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Lord knows we need some of those outspoken voices because our media refuses to do their job. Our politicians refuse to do their job. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to have some degree of accountability.
Well, and we spoke about the media before. The media is
right.
a business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you collect a lot. Well, I should say you give a lot. You collect some for veterans,
right.
And you guys have an event coming up.
Yes, we actually have a charity ride coming up this Saturday.
Yep, and let's see here.
Yeah, it's our third annual ride.
There it is. Okay, yeah. So May 11th.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Okay, so does it say it has the address? All right. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So here it is here. I don't know if you guys can see 63992 Indiana 331 South Bend 46544.
Yeah, we're right on the corner of 331 and New Road, heading towards Bremen. We'll be on the left. If you're heading from Bremen, it'll be on the right, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, they do a good ride. You guys, it looks like there's some raffles. There's some,
we will have some raffles. We'll have 50-50, a 50-50 raffle.
Which usually does pretty well.
Oh, yeah. People love 50-50s.
Yeah. Give a little, get a little, right?
Oh, yeah. Totally. The format's going to be a little interesting. Okay. It's a dice ride. So it's very similar to anybody who does charity rides. It's similar to a poker ride.
Okay.
But instead of cards, you're going to be rolling dice.
Oh, so do you like roll them when you get there? Or
there'll be different stops.
Okay.
And at each stop, you'll roll dice.
Okay.
And you'll get a score, kind of.
Okay.
You'll get a score. Mm-hmm. There'll be a payout for the most points.
Okay.
There will be a payout for the least points.
There you go. For those of you who are notoriously bad at dice rolling.
And there'll be some other little rewards for getting certain things like, if you played Yahtzee, a full house.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you guys gonna like keep track of
stuff? So there'll be some little prizes for that too.
Okay, cool.
So
I will say this: I've been to their events in the past, and some of their giveaway stuff is amazing. I actually won one. It's like a full trauma kit in a bag, a little zippered bag that I keep on the bike, and it's got like compression bandages and like all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I mean, it was nice, and it was packed very, very good. So well, in fact, that when I opened it up to look at all the cool stuff that was in it, I couldn't get it back together without help. But they were nice enough to help me get it back together.
So if if you want to come out and support the veterans cause, have a little fun.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Feel free to come down. You don't have to ride a bike. You can take your car if you want.
Yeah, yeah, that's something that not a lot of
Yeah.
I guess civilians, people who aren't involved in the culture. Like when I first started riding again, within the last few years, I didn't realize like cars were generally welcome. I mean, at these, like poker runs and stuff like that, until I saw it on one flyer, and then they had one in somewhere. I don't remember where or the circumstances. I thought I did, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to steer wrong. So
I mean, or for that matter, if you want to support the veterans, but you don't want to go to
six different places.
Yeah, 4 different spots. You can feel free to hang out at the clubhouse. There will be people there.
Quite a few people do actually. They come, they pay for it, and it's just their donation, and then they hang out, have a sandwich or whatever snacks are there, because there's usually some.
We'll have drinks. We'll have coffee. There will be
clubhouse too.
Yeah, we'll have pizza and pretzel knots when the ride's over.
There you go.
Or not pretzel knots, garlic knots, whatever.
Dude, you had me think. I was like, pretzel knots, man.
Garlic knots. I like garlic knots better anyway.
I was like soft pretzels, man. I could go for a soft. That's
I misspoke.
Shattered my.
I misspoke. Forgive me.
So, talk about what you guys have actually done. For like anybody can say we help. We, what I mean? Yeah, we collect some money and we, like go to the pancake breakfast, or we, hand out a couple of dollars here and there.
All right. Oh,
you guys genuinely help. How so?
Yeah. So, and we don't like to talk about it too much.
That's why I asked, because people should know.
Yeah, I suppose. We go to Miller's Vets, and we don't hand them a check, take a couple pictures, and take off.
Right.
We'll make up gift baskets for them with everyday essentials that they need. We'll bring some food,
socks,
all kinds of stuff. Coffee. Yeah. They love having coffee.
Coffee's a treat, man.
So, and then we'll be there like 3-4 hours just talking to them. And, that's really, we spoke about it before. It's really, that's kind of a really big deal to them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They appreciate the gift baskets and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they, more than that, I think that they like being seen, acknowledged,
Yeah. It's more than just take some money. Take some money and.
Yeah. And there's no news crews.
Right.
Anything like that. As a matter of fact, most of the pictures getting taken are from them.
Right.
Because they want to remember it.
Yeah, you guys aren't like post, and that's the thing, and that's why, like, for me, it's such an important deal what you guys do, and I really want to support you guys however I can, because you're not doing it. You're doing it for the right reasons. You're not doing it to take pictures and put them on your Facebook page and score some social media brownie points, or the crap that you see with. The videos and and I highlight it because I want you guys to know, especially my viewers that are local, these guys give a damn, and they're out there and they're trying to make a difference, and they could use your help. And if you want to get involved, they'd love to have you. You don't even have to be part of the club to help. Right. There's supporter type stuff. You don't have to ride. You don't have to do anything. Just there's ways that you can assist, and I'm going to throw your email up there. If you're,
absolutely. If you have any questions or, whatever, you can, contact me at the email posted.
Yeah.
Down here.
Yeah. There you go. Look at that. You're like a YouTube pro, man. Look at you.
Not even.
No. It's really simple. cheese@patrioticview.com. And all of it's spelled exactly like you think it's spelled. So.
Yeah, that email goes straight to my phone. I'll get it. Keep in mind I work nights, so
yeah. He might. That's what a lot of people don't get about me. I'll send them a weird, something I just thought of at 2:00 in the morning, and they're like, "Good night." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. If you send me something at like 1 in the afternoon, probably not going to answer it.
Yeah.
until later.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to really don't expect a response right away. Regardless, because you have a life to lead. But that aside, so let's say that society crumbles, right? Because that's a big thing, and that's another kind of term that I hate, right?
Now, when you say society crumbles, let's elaborate on that. What are you talking here?
Right. Well, that's the real question, right? That's what I was going to say.
There's a lot of scenarios.
There's a lot of scenarios. The most common, and I think the most likely scenario, is some sort of power grid interruption.
Okay.
I think that represents the most logical and could potentially have the most it's the most likely to happen due to a large variety of scenarios.
Hackers, EMPs, what have you.
Yeah, and natural disasters. I mean, we just had a tornado warning in Long Beach. I guess one, may have even touched down. I don't know for sure. I know there was a watch, then a warning, and then, excuse me. So anyway, tornadoes can happen.
Right.
Takes the power out, but let's say instead of just a regular power outage for, your 3 days that it takes NIPSCO to, come and fix stuff. Let's say it's bigger and it's at least the whole city. Okay. If not a larger area, and it's ongoing for beyond a week.
Okay.
Are all the 3%ers going to kind of like meet up in a central location and then start rebuilding the government?
Well, like I said, if there's a newsletter, I don't get it.
Right. But like, I guess the.
So I think I know what you're asking.
Okay, go ahead.
I think what you're asking is, well, are these guys going to come help with the situation, or is it just
right? Is that who we turn to?
It's time to storm the Capitol.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's I can't speak for every 3% group out there, but I would guess that the answer would be a resounding no.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong.
Right.
I could be wrong. Because in situations like that, people tend to want to take care of their own, as they should. That's your first priority. Take care of your family.
It is. And once you've established the safety of your family, at least in the short term, you can think about long term.
In a case like that, I do have a piece of advice.
Okay.
Don't lose your fucking mind. It's been more than 30 seconds. I can say that, right?
Now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, don't lose your mind.
Right.
Like, it's okay to not have Facebook.
Yeah.
It's okay to, have candles lighting your house.
I think a lot of people are really going to like lose it without.
Oh, there have been shows about it.
Yeah, what was it, like The Colony? But there was one.
No, there was actually a show that was like it kind of like was it was like what would happen if the power grid went down.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like 3 days, 5 days. Well, it was like wasn't more than a week.
No, it was less than a week.
But it followed like 4 or 5 different scenarios. Like, one was like a couple that lived, in a freaking high-rise apartment. One was, a family whose father was a prepper.
Okay.
One was a single mother with her young child.
Wish I could remember the name of it.
I wish I could remember the name of it too. It was actually a really interesting show.
I remember it, not as well as you do. But I remember watching it and being frankly surprised at, I guess, how balanced
it was very
the
straight.
Information was. It was strictly information.
It was straight. It was kind of it was a fictional scenario. It wasn't like you had experts there talking about that. They had them interspersed. I know. I keep doing it. Get over it.
Just something you have to
they had experts talking about what happens in these situations and whatnot. And then in between those, they would have dramatization.
Yeah.
But you're right. There was no leaning one way or the other.
It wasn't
And
pushing an agenda.
there was no, like I said, there was like 4 or 5 different scenarios. Not a single one of them had an easy go of it.
No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. Even the prepper, the guy who he had it all figured out. He had his property, he had his fuel source, he had his bunker, he had this, he had that, he had all that. Nope. Things still went sideways for him.
Yep. Because they are going to. There's no way to prepare for every eventuality. It's just not
right.
You can guard against most. You can play the odds. You can even sit down and rack your brain. Well, what if, and then paralyze yourself with inaction. But
no, I mean, and honestly,
critical thinking, I'd say, is the most important thing.
Honestly, in a case like that, a natural disaster or something like that, unless
I didn't even see Jack had a comment.
Oh, we have a comment?
Yeah, Jack said there are people in the know that are forecasting the freshwater war pending. Forget about power. Interesting. That's also a I'll say this. I have been just stunned at the level of news coverage that's coming out talking about all the poisons in our food, right? We've known about it for a while now. But the fact that you're starting to see it on mainstream news back to back with this company dumped 144 $144 million worth of chemicals, or 134 million pounds of chemicals or tons or something into the water supply. But it's all the time now. It's here you go. We're trying to kill you off. We make no bones about it.
Don't underestimate the adaptability of the human species.
That is also true. Speaking of adaptability, I firmly believe that the number one resource and the best thing to have on your side in that circumstance is good critical thinking skills and the ability to think on your feet. Yeah. Obviously, tools help.
And a diverse skill set.
Your brain's the best tool out there. But within a week, people start turning on each other.
Oh, yeah.
With no power.
Yeah, within days.
Yeah, the food starts to run out.
Well, if you think about it, power goes out, you can't run your debit card.
That's another thing. Another thing is in that type of scenario, it doesn't even matter if you have cash on hand, because cash is only worth what people assign its value. I predict barter is going to take over in that circumstance.
You can never go wrong with a barter system,
right? And you might have some precious metals and stuff that get kind of traded back and forth, but I got no use for that. Ammo, food, etc. That's why
blankets, clothes,
right? Antibiotics, there's baby food. And there are going to be those people that will trade away their last anything for a pack of smokes.
Back to your scenario and your question, where 3%ers may come into play would be, in a case like that, that's just rife for government to just come and just declare martial law. Suspend the Constitution. For your safety.
Of course, it's always for our safety. For your safety.
And I think that's where the 3%er could be very useful.
I would agree with that.
There has to be that safeguard.
For those of you that may be new to the show, first of all, thanks for listening. But I'm from southern Louisiana. I have family who survived Hurricane Katrina. And when Hurricane Katrina hit, and it got really bad, the National Guard went door to door confiscating weapons. So don't think they're there to save you. They're not. I just want to let you guys know that. Most of my listeners probably realize that already. But for those of you out there who are just starting to like understand what's going on, realize something's wrong, the government is not your friend.
Yeah, despite what you want to believe, they don't have your best interest at heart.
No,
Nobody's coming to help you.
Right. That is the best thing right there. All these agencies and all these, they're there to clean up. Like, for the government, not for us. They're not there to clean up for us.
Bureaucrats are not your friends.
Right. Bureaucrats are not your friends. Forget party, forget all that. Yeah. They're
left wing, right wing, it's all the same vulture.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So anyway, I agree with you. I think that's the scenario where your real 3%ers, or at least the ones
with some sense,
are going to start to question things and potentially become a very valuable neighborhood resource.
Yeah, become that safeguard.
Right.
And that's, I mean, if there's anybody in a different 3% group, whatever you believe in, just don't give up, whatever, you're not going to, but at any rate, just do some thinking. Have some thought, what we've been talking about, what comes after. I mean, trust me, I understand the frustration and the desire to go, I've had enough,
right?
Lock and load.
Yeah. And
but that's not a long-term solution.
Exactly.
That's a knee-jerk reaction. It may come to that one day.
Yeah, it may. I hope to God it doesn't.
I mean,
that's one of the things. I really do. I hope that things don't get that bad. I hope that we can, pull back from that precipice before it gets to that.
Yeah.
But Jack says, government only legislative duty at such time is to maintain the government, not the people's houses and food.
Yeah, well spoken.
Yeah. And that's the reality of it. I mean, our government, in an ideal world, the government would step in and provide the shelter and the services. Look at Maui, dude. Look at Hawaii. Each of those people got $750.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me started. I know, all the billions and trillions of dollars we're sending out. Don't get me riled up.
Yeah, I was just about to.
I know
I was just about to go there. Yeah.
I don't want to derail this for half an hour while I rant about all the damn money they're spending overseas. But Maui is actually a far more recent and more beautiful and in-your-face example of how the government's not there for you. These people's homes burned down, and reason and what's behind it aside, their homes burned down, and the government not only they were actively keeping them in, they were preventing people from fleeing. So to think that they're there, like they're just going to swoop in. Oh, it's okay. We got you. Don't worry. We're putting you up in the Hilton. No, that's only if you're here illegally. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that.
Yeah. Throw your rant your way now.
I'm gonna try to keep it classy.
Right. We're good. Yeah. And Jack, you make a good point. He said a few decades ago, Colorado attempted to run a pipe into Lake Michigan. That's why the Great Lakes Basin was created. Okay. But he did say you can't buy gasoline when internet is down. And that's true. Everything, like there used to, remember the little gas stations where you go in and go with the machine, Everything's debit card now. Everything's electronic now. Everything's...
Well, there's still some Like, and they're very rural places, but there's still a few little
There's a few
mom
of them
and play
old school
places.
mom and pop places.
Yeah, you lift it up and it's got the turny little turny numbers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Instead of all digital all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was mechanical.
hmm
But that's few and far between. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's going to be real hard to get gas.
Yeah. Which is one reason why I think and it is a good idea to try to keep your tank as full as you can. You know, half and up is what I generally recommend so that you have enough fuel if necessary, if something does kick off, that you can at least escape the area.
Yeah.
You know, it's because if you only got, a quarter or an eighth of a tank, you're not going to get that far. And in a disaster scenario,
there's going to be a lot of sitting on the street
right.
because traffic's going to get congested.
Yep. But we really could go into a whole host of things. We're getting a little, but I think that's good. I think we have a good general understanding of what it is and what it means to you.
For something as ambiguous as it is, aside from the core idea,
right?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so fine a point you can put on it because it means, the particulars mean different things to different people.
Right. But at its core, it's those who are willing to stand up to obvious tyranny.
Yeah, hold the government accountable, and if they become tyrannical, somebody has to be willing to draw that line in the sand.
True. I guess the real question is, who? Because every movement needs a leader. I'd say you'd look dashing on a horse.
Stop. Stop. Negative.
Yeah, maybe a calico, a dapple. I don't know, horse.
Stop it. A calico? That's a cat. Okay.
What do they call them? With the splotches? It's not splotch.
I don't know. Do I look like an equestrian?
I mean, on a steel horse.
Stop it. Stop.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I can be, especially since I'm tired. I did not sleep well last night. You're just getting off of work, so it's a good little dynamic. Look, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, if you live anywhere in the area, and even if you don't want to make a fantastic trip, May 11th, which is Saturday. Registration starts at 9 a.m. That is South Bend time, right?
That is Eastern time, yes.
Eastern time, 9 a.m. So 8 a.m., real time. And then kickstands up at 11 Eastern, 10 Central.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, this is not like you can ride in groups.
Okay.
But it's not, we're all leaving at 11 o'clock and, going, 80 deep to these places. You're going to leave on your own, do your route
that I didn't understand
at your pace.
The first time I ended up doing one of these, I didn't know I didn't know how it worked. So I thought we were all going to go in a group. No, these you ride to your destination. Like if you want to get together with a few buddies, you know, and do that. Yeah. But in general,
or if you want to hang back and ride with the club's going to be the last ones out.
There you go.
They're going to be bringing up the rear. So if you want to just ride with them, you can.
Yeah.
If you want to take off, with your friends, if you want to, meet some people and decide to ride with some people you just met.
Right.
That's fine too. Make some friends.
So we're not going to get too deep into it, but one thing I do want to touch on really quickly as far as the misconceptions, right?
Okay.
For bikers, just in general. I'm not talking about any particular club, but there are perceptions out there that certain clubs or certain stereotypes of biker is either dangerous or unfriendly or whatever.
You're just describing people.
Right.
People are dangerous. People are unfriendly. I mean, this is that's a valid, that's the excellent point is, bikers are people.
Right.
They're just people,
Mhm.
and they're real big on respect.
Okay.
Give respect, get respect.
Right.
If you treat them with respect, they're likely to treat you with respect too.
Yeah.
So
I think people would be surprised at how many, I won't say bikers, but motorcycle riders are veterans.
mhm.
They represent an outsized portion of that group for some reason.
Well, you got to keep in mind, motorcycle clubs were started by veterans.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. The Hells Angels was started by World War II vets.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Because they were bomber pilots.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. And, when you're a bomber pilot in World War II, like your life expectancy was pretty low.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely.
there was a lot of adrenaline there. And when it was all over, well, you just don't stop with the adrenaline.
True.
You had to do something.
Yeah.
And Harley Davidson had, a lot of bikes in World War II.
Yeah. Yeah. They were.
And the surplus bikes were pretty easy to get.
Yeah. They were pretty cheap, and yeah, they were selling them off like crazy.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys came back from the war.
Yeah.
Got these surplus bikes, and they just, these guys, slept together, ate together, bled together.
Right.
You just don't turn that off.
Right. And I think that's kind of a key thing for people to understand too with these clubs is, at least the most notable, or certainly the way your club looks at it, these aren't just people you're hanging out with. These are brothers.
Yeah.
It's a very tight.
Yeah. This is not a cordial relationship. This is not just a, on the surface thing. I mean, it's you gotta trust these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
we're on two wheels, nothing around us.
Right.
And let's be honest, you ride a motorcycle.
Mhm.
It certainly seems like most of the cars out there are actively trying to kill you.
Yeah, it really does.
So it's very important to have each other's backs.
Yeah.
And to trust each other.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Thought there was something. Anyway. I said I didn't sleep that well. I'm tired.
Oh, you seen Black Dog?
Yeah, not yet. Although that has happened to me when I was driving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a story for another time. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you spending your time with us. What do you think we should dive into next week?
Oh boy, I don't know. Just hit me with something.
Okay. All right.
I'll wing it.
Yeah. We'll get it figured out and we'll get it posted. But either way, we'll be here 8 a.m. Central Time on every Wednesday, other than holidays or particularly painful days. I don't know. I was sick the when we were supposed to launch it, so it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But we're doing okay. I'm just so everyone's aware. If you didn't happen to see take one, I'm just gonna delete it because we covered everything in this and it actually worked.
Yeah,
so,
it was very. The first one was very awkward.
It was. It was.
I was left to my own devices and I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, and I'm trying to tell them, how to do stuff and how to work stuff. So, yeah, it was not my finest hour. So I think I thought a redo was in order. So I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you next week. Stay tuned to the, main channel. We got a lot of stuff coming up for you. God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America.
Amen.
Hope everybody has a great day. Thanks.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.